My dear students, today I am discussing a few questions on electrostatics. Electrostatics may be divided into two parts. One part containing Coulomb's law, electric dipole, Gauss theorem, etc., while the other part contains capacitors. Normally, it is a belief that electrostatics has the concepts which are really tough, and hence I want to give you a small suggestion, that is, rather than concentrating on the answer, try to concentrate on the concepts that I explain together with the approach, because once you are clear about the concepts and the method of approach, any deviation in the question, if it comes in the exam, you will be certainly able to approach it without much of a difficulty. Let me illustrate it by taking the very first example. The question is, a charge of 0.07 microcoulomb is lying at a point A with the coordinates 3, 5, -1 in a Cartesian coordinate system. The electric potential at a point B 035 is. Look here, you have already studied that the potential at a point due to an isolated point charge is given by the formula 9 into 10 to the power 9 into Q divided by R. Please note that I am assuming air medium. In this case, Q is directly given, but R is not directly given. The charge Q is at the point A35 minus 1, A35 minus 1. The point B is, say, with the coordinates 035, 035. Look here, by the distance formula in coordinate geometry, you know that the distance R between the points A and B is given by under root of x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square plus z2 minus z1 whole square. It can be done orally. 0 minus 3 whole square is 9. 3 minus 5 whole square is 4. 9, 4, 13. 5 plus 1 whole square is 36. 36 plus 13 is 49. Root 49 is equal to 7. Hence, you agree that R is equal to 7. If you write it, you can write this as 9 into 10 to the power 9. Charge is 0.07 microcoulomb, can be written as 7 into 10 to the power minus 8 coulomb divided by the distance is 7. You can easily see that 7 cancels with 7. 10 raised to 9, 10 raised to minus 8 is 10 raised to 1 equal to 10. 10 into 9 is equal to 90 volt, and therefore third alternative is the correct answer. Let me now go to the second question. Two fixed charges minus 2q and q are located at the points with the coordinates minus 3a0 and 3a0 in the xy plane. The locus of all the points in the xy plane where the electric potential due to the charges is 0 is a 1 straight line, 2 ellipse, 3 circle, 4 parabola. You know, you have solved the examples on locus. In locus problems, normally you follow 3 steps. Number 1, conditions given in the problem are put in the mathematical form. Number 2, you simplify the equation so that it comes to the standard form. Number 3, then by knowing the standard form, you identify the nature of the locus. Let me now consider the actual problem. The charge minus 2q is located at this charge minus 2q is located at the point minus 3a 0, minus 3a comma 0. Another charge is located and the charge is q. It is located at the point 3a comma 0. Now you have to find the locus of the point P such that net potential at the point P is 0. I request you to please note that the first test in the locus problems is let Pxy be the point whose locus is to be found. Next point, put the condition given in the problem in the form of a mathematical equation. In the sense, if the net potential at P is 0, potential due to this charge and this charge are numerically equal but opposite in sign. Ignoring the sign, if you keep them numerically equal, then the charge is K. Remember, in electrostatics, small k stands for 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0, that is 9 into 10 to the power 9. Capital K stands for the dielectric constant. K into Q by R, charge is 2Q divided by R. R is the distance between the points P and this charge. This is equal to under root of x2 minus x1 whole square, x plus 3a whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square is plus y square. This should be numerically equal to the potential at P due to the charge Q. You agree that it is K into the charge is Q divided by, again the distance formula, under root of x minus 3a whole square plus it is y minus 0 whole square is y square. I request you to please note that k into q will cancel. If it were a regular board exam, you would have simplified and got the answer and you could have obtained the answer. But in CET, as far as possible, elaborate workings should be avoided and you have to use logic behind it. Suppose you imagine that the expressions are squared both in LHS and RHS. You get 4 into x square is 4x square. This x square will go to the right hand side. If you bring it to LHS, 4x square minus x square will be equal to 3x square. Similarly, if you take this one 4y square and if you bring y square on this side, minus y square will make it plus 3y square. Please note that xy term is absent in both the cases. You all know that a second degree equation of the type ax square plus ay square plus 2gx plus 2fy plus c equal to 0. That is, if the coefficients of x square and y square are equal and the xy term is absent, then it represents a circle. Therefore, since it is 3x square plus 3y square, coefficients of x square and y square are same and xy term is absent. Hence, the locus is a circle. Therefore, third alternative is the correct answer. Let us now go to the third question. It is, in Millikan's oil drop experiment, an oil drop carrying a charge Q is held stationary by a potential difference of 2400 volt between the plates. To keep a drop half the radius stationary, the potential difference had to be made 600 volt. What is the charge on the second drop? Options are 1 q divided by 4, 2 q divided by 2, third q, and the fourth is 3q divided by 2. In Millikan's oil drop experiment, there will be two charged metal plates. There will be two charged metal plates between which potential difference is maintained. In the first case, he says potential difference of 2400 volt is maintained between the plates. It keeps an oil drop of radius r stationary. You agree that the drop will remain stationary if the gravitational force, rather the weight, is balanced by the electrostatic force. You know that if the potential difference between the plates is 2400 and if the plate separation is d, electric field between the plates is 2400 divided by d is the electric field. Then if the charge on the plate is q, then if the charge and the drop is q, then the force acting on the charge is 2400 divided by d multiplied by q. This must be equal to the weight of the drop. If you consider the weight of the drop, if the radius is r, volume is 4 divided by 3 pi r cube into rho will give the mass into g will give the weight. Therefore, electrostatic force is balanced against the weight, hence the drop is stationary. If there is another drop with a radius half, if it should remain stationary, we are required to find what is the potential difference between the plates. Let potential difference between the plates be phi. Plate separation again being d, it is divided by d. Suppose the charge and the drop is q dash. This is the electrostatic force on the drop. This must be equal to the weight of the drop. Coming now to the weight of the drop, 4 divided by 3 pi. If the radius becomes r by 2, then you agree that r cube would become now r cube divided by 8. Rho into g will not change. Therefore, in the first case, balance equation is given here, and in the second case, the balance equation is given here. If you divide one by the other, you can now look at it that d and d will cancel. But in the second case, he has given that potential is 600. Therefore, V can be replaced by 600. 600 into 1, this is going to be 600 into 4. 4 upon 3 pi r cube rho z, 4 upon 3 pi r cube rho z will cancel. On account of that reason, you can easily notice that 4q divided by q dash is equal to this divided by this will give you 8. 1 divided by 1 by 8 will give you 8. 4 will cancel with it, will give you 2. Therefore, q dash is equal to q divided by 2. Hence, second option is the correct answer. Before going to the next question, I would like to tell you the concept on which the next question is based. That is to find the points where the electric intensity is 0 with respect to a given charge configuration. Remember, in CET, charge configuration will consist of only 2 charges. Suppose Q1 is one charge, Q2 is another charge. You want to find out the points where the electric intensity is 0. Remember one thing, above the line joining the 2 charges and below the line joining the 2 charges, the two intensity vectors will be inclined at an angle other than 180 degrees. You know that resultant vector of two vectors will be 0 only when the two vectors are equal and opposite. That is, angle between the two vectors is 180 degrees. Since angle can never be 180 degrees either at any point above the line joining the charges or below the line joining the charges, the points of zero intensity must lie along the line joining the two charges. This is a minimum requirement. Along the line joining the two charges, I identify three positions. One is between Q1 and Q2, other is to the left of Q1, third is to the right of Q2. Suppose Q1 and Q2 are both of the same nature, in the sense either both positive or both negative. If you consider a point in between and place a unit positive charge, Q1 will repel, Q2 will repel. Hence the angle between them can be 180 degrees. If you consider a point here, Q1 will repel, Q2 will repel. Both are in the same direction. Resultant can never be 0. If you consider a point to the right of Q2, once again Q2 will repel, Q1 will also repel. The resultant intensity can never be 0. By this, we come to a conclusion that when the two charges are of the same nature, the electric intensity can be 0 only at a point between the two charges along the line joining them. Let me now assume that Q1 is positive and Q2 is negative. In that case, if you consider a point in between them, Q1 will repel, Q2 will attract. Two forces are in the same direction, therefore the resultant cannot be 0. But if you consider a point over here, Q1 will repel, Q2 will attract, therefore the two forces are in the opposite directions, hence the resultant can be 0. By this discussion, we come to one shortcut information that when the two charges are of the same nature, null point must lie along the line joining the two charges and between the two charges. But when the charges are of opposite nature, the null point must be either to the left of Q1 or to the right of Q2. Then remember, both are not possible. Electric intensity due to a larger charge at a greater distance can be equal to the electric intensity due to a smaller charge at a lesser distance. Hence, the point of zero intensity must be necessarily closer to the smaller charge. Therefore, please keep in your mind these 3 points. Number 1, if the charges are of the same nature, null point must lie between the two charges. 2, if the charges are of opposite nature, whether this is positive, this is negative, this is negative, this is positive, the electric intensity can be 0 only at a point beyond the line joining the two charges. In the sense, either to the left of Q1 or to the right of Q2. But among these 2 points, you should choose a point which is closer to the smaller of the two charges. With this idea to guide us, I will take one question to illustrate the idea that I have told you. I will read the question. 2 point charges of magnitude 4 microcoulomb and minus 9 microcoulomb are 0.5 meter apart. The electric intensity is 0 at a distance x meter from A and y meter from B. X and y are respectively, first option 0.5 meter and 1 meter, second option 1 meter and 1.5 meter. Third option, 2 meter and 1.5 meter. Fourth option, 1.5 meter and 2 meter. Note one thing over here, that in this case Q1 is equal to plus 4 microcoulomb and Q2 is equal to minus 9 microcoulomb. Therefore, the two charges are of opposite nature. From what I told you just now during the explanation, the null point must be beyond the line joining the two charges and closer to the smaller of the two charges means the null point must be somewhere here. Suppose it is at a distance x from A and y from B, then y must be equal to x plus 0.5, that is 0.5 plus x. If the resultant intensity should be 0 over here, the intensities due to the two charges should be numerically equal. Therefore, K, I am calculating the intensity here due to the charge at A. K into 4 microcoulomb, 4 into 10 raised to minus 6 divided by the distance is x, that is x square. This must be equal to intensity due to the other one. It must be K into 9 into 10 to the power minus 6 divided by square of the distance is 0.5 plus x bracket square. Please note y is equal to 0.5 plus x. If you take this precaution regarding the positions, while taking a root, plus or minus need not be put. Then k will cancel with this k, 10 raised to minus 6 with 10 raised to minus 6. 2 divided by x is equal to 3 divided by 0.5 plus x. Cross multiplying, 2 into 0.5 is equal to 1 plus 2x is equal to 3 into x is equal to 3x. It will give you x equal to 1 meter. If x is equal to 1 meter, y is 0.5 plus 1 equal to 1.5. Therefore, the answer is 1 meter and 1.5 meter. Therefore, second option is correct. Now, I will go to the next question. Two identical conducting spheres A and B are separated by a distance greater than their diameters. The spheres carry equal charges and the electrostatic force between them is F. A third identical uncharged sphere C is first brought in contact with A and then with B and finally removed. As a result, the electrostatic force between A and B becomes, let A and B be two identical charges separated by a certain distance. I call the first one as A and I will call the second one as B. You all agree that if the separation between A and B is D, then the electrostatic force between them is K multiplied by Q square divided by D square. I assume that the charge on each sphere is Q. Now, suppose there is an identical third charge and I call it to be equal to C. If I bring C, which is uncharged, in contact with A, you know that charges exchange between the two spheres till their potentials become equal. Since the charges are only on A but not on C, and since the dimensions of the two spheres are same, the charge on A and C will be same only when they are equally divided. Hence, the charge on A will be Q by 2 and the charge on C will also be equal to Q by 2. Now suppose you take C and bring it in contact with B. The charge on B was Q, the charge on C is Q by 2. This total charge will get equally divided between the two. On account of that reason, the charge on each will be equal to 2Q plus Q is 3Q divided by 4. Note one thing, that if now C is removed, charge on A is Q by 2, charge on B is 3Q by 4. Therefore, new force between A and B will become F dash is equal to K multiplied by product of the two charges. Q by 2 into 3Q by 2 is 3 divided by 8 Q square divided by separation will be the same, therefore divided by D square. But you agree that K into Q square by D square is equal to F. Therefore, F dash is equal to 3F divided by 8. Therefore, second option is the correct answer. Now, I will take one question based on electrostatic energy. Let me now read the question. Three charges, capital Q, plus small q and plus small q, are placed at the vertices of a right-angled isosceles triangle as shown. The net electrostatic energy of the configuration is 0 if capital Q is equal to. That's it. For your reference, let me draw the figure again. This charge is capital Q, this is small q, this is also equal to small q. The side is A, naturally this will be A, and the hypotenuse will be equal to A root 2, will be equal to A root 2. Then, you know that electrostatic energy consisting of a system of three charges Q1, Q2, Q3 is K. I once again tell you, small k is 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0. Q1, Q2 divided by R12 plus Q2, Q3 divided by R23 plus Q3, Q1 divided by R31. Therefore, electrostatic energy of the system E is equal to K into bracket Q1, Q2, Q into Q divided by the distance A plus, if I consider this, Q2, Q3, Q into Q is Q square divided by the distance is again A plus this and this, it is again Q into Q divided by the distance is, it is going to be equal to A root 2. Now, in this case, you can agree that if this electrostatic energy should be 0, quantity inside the bracket should be 0. I will remove the common term Q by A, Q by A, Q by A. Therefore, in order that bracketed quantity should be 0, Q plus small q plus capital Q divided by root 2 should be 0. If I now take a capital Q common, 1 plus 1 divided by root 2 is equal to, if I take Q on that side, it is minus Q. Therefore, if I make a Q the subject of the formula, it is minus Q multiplied by root 2 becomes LCM, it will go to the numerator, divided by 1 means it is root 2 plus 1. Multiplying both the numerator and the denominator by root 2, one can see that the condition can be written as minus q divided by 2 plus 2 plus root 2. Therefore, you can see that option number 2 is the correct answer.